Greetings, flesh creatures. It is I, Megatron. On behalf of TFYLP, I want to congratulate you for listening to the most refined collective podcast on this miserable little planet Earth. Yes. Here you'll find knowledgeable fans discussing every aspect of Transformers and beyond. Now, enjoy the show while I continue my path to complete conquest of all of you miserable biological entities. Predacons, terrorize!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ouch My Wallet. Ouch My Wallet for 9/4/2019. It's a special edition this time because I'm sure, as most people know, we had a big release recently come out. Everybody's favorite red and blue GoBot Psykill. All right, cheesy jokes aside. Masterpiece Optimus Prime just came out, the new one, MP-44. You want to hold yours up, Paul?
Well, mine isn't an Optimus Prime, unfortunately. Mine is a Masterpiece Starscream.
I like that you've already converted it. Like, I mean, was that like the first thing you did when you took it out of the box?
No, actually. I mean, getting it to this point is a journey. So this was the end of the said journey, and I got him attached to the stand. So he's actually like using the jetpack right now, because he doesn't have his wings on and stuff. So I figured this is the best way to kind of show him as a air commander, But it took a long time to actually get him on the stand, but I don't want to harp on that just yet. So he is very pretty, though.
If you're wondering why I didn't show mine first, it's because it's currently like this. I figured before.
Like in Go Walk mode?
No, it's not there yet. It's getting there. It was a case of, before I talked about tonight, I was like, I needed to experience at least part of the transformation. But I knew I wouldn't have time to finish it. I got a busy evening, especially, I just knew I wouldn't have time. I need just more time, because the first time I transform stuff, I don't use instructions unless I really have to, which I pretty much get through stuff without it, but I go slow, I take my time, you tweak a piece. Oh, wait, Transformers. Dude, that's what we're talking about.
I never use video reviews or whatever. Yeah. Like a lot of people say, like, oh, I don't use the instructions, I use the video reviews. But this time there was like 3 or 4 scary moments where I needed to consult someone speaking in Chinese that was fiddling with it like it was a $5 toy that knew exactly what he was doing. So From his visuals, I was able to do it. So I would just do it the way you want. Of course, enjoy your toys the way you want, but just be careful, please.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I felt like with like MP-36. Like, I had to go through a video review, like the part where you had to pull the legs down. That first time on Megatron, Masterpiece Megatron, like, it was freaking me out.
I don't remember having problems with that. I know the first time I transformed him, I remember it taking me about 45 minutes. But I remember the second and subsequent times being like 15, 20. And I could do them while watching TV. The part I remember both blowing my mind and being the most complex is MP-36 is his inner chest and the way it becomes the gun barrel. And the way it all hides and, fakes it and all that. I thought that was really ingenious and, kind of one of those masterpiece moments that we like to talk about. Really had one of those in there with that.
So you really didn't have time today to experience the whole thing? You're kind of doing it right now?
The transformation, no. Like, I did play with the accessories a lot. And there is so much to talk about with the accessories alone. I mean, I was working, so, while I was working or stuck on something, I would fiddle it a bit. And for the accessories, I did get out the instructions because, I mean, there's not transformation there. It's just I'm not going to realize all the gimmicks that are there. So this is a pretty thick instruction book. Well, I mean, it's not thick, but there's a lot of pages in here. It doesn't have a count. But half of this book are the accessories. Less than half. Yeah, so there's where it is. It has 2 or 3 more pages before you get to the staples. And then it's all of this back half here is the things you can do with the accessories. it's insane. So should we just get into it?
Yeah, I would say we should start with the accessories because that was kind of the same way I delved into it too. I realized I was messing around with it for like an hour, and I hadn't even touched the truck.
Yeah.
Because I guess when you're a Transformers fan, you're a little bit OCD. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone. And some of the parts that make Masterpiece figures great is like the storage of all these crazy accessories, and they went out of their way with this one to make that something. And it's very much a part of the whole experience is figuring out how to store the stuff. However, it's weird because there's a few things that really have no place to store them, and there's a few like creative choices you can make on how to like really fit everything in the trailer or not. And if you want to keep the robot completely void of all the parts, just keep it as regular Optimus Prime. Where do you put all the extra stuff?
So like the gun in both truck mode and in robot has multiple places to store it. So in truck mode, you can have it facing up back like a cannon or whatever, or you can put it flat up against the cab. It pegs in. And that's so that depending on which mode you have the trailer in, because the trailer has just a bunch of configurations. It is super awesome, but it's also a toy. Like, I mean, it's for posing and, I don't know, you can go wild with it. We'll definitely articulate all those.
Here's something that I didn't know until I got it today, is that the laser rifle everything transforms. Like, it folds up like this, and the handle has a pivot as well, so it has one of those like smaller tabs, so you do some of those crazy storage things you're talking about.
Yeah. So the only stuff I found that didn't store really was the Starscream bits and the stand bit. So that's just these three parts. You got the Starscream head, the clear stand adapter, and this is just used for Dinobot stand, right? Or
I think so, yeah. Or it might be a universal port that other stands use too. I don't collect other toys that would have a stand, so I don't know.
Yeah. And then of course the Starscream wing things that Paul has on his. Those pieces do not store.
Hey Rob, sorry to interrupt you. It looks like Jim was actually available to get on too. Do you mind if I add him real quick?
Yeah, add him in. It'll take me a second to get him set up on Skype, but yeah, or on OBS.
Okay.
Let's pull you over.
I guess I found like the way I have, if you do the Starscream stuff like on the figure and you have him holding the other head, you can put the stand bit into the storage under the trailer. Because there's just so everyone knows, there's a part on the bottom of the trailer you can pull out. It slides right out, and that's where you store a lot of the parts.
Yeah, here, I'll get into it. So
yeah,
save those features. I want to talk about the minifigures here in a minute.
You don't just like toss them all back in the back end of the truck?
No. Well, you could, but yeah, so check this out.
Yeah. So a lot more organized that way.
So here's the trailer, and I didn't even realize this looks like a solid piece, right? But you slide this out, and here are snap that into place. The accessories. So you can see the energy axe, a blast that tab onto the jetpack, which Paul has them plugged into his, and then the two extra heads, as well as the damaged his side rib bit, where he gets shot by Megatron in the movie. That piece is there. So this all stores here, and then you just slide it back in. Well, I can't do it.
And that's really cool too, because I feel like one complaint I have with a lot of these Masterpiece and third-party toys is that it comes with all these accessories, and it's like, what do you do with it?
You put them in the box.
Half the time, I just put them in the box, and you don't actually do anything with it. So it's neat that, I really liked what they did with Ironhide and Ratchet, how they had the sleds, and then they had all the accessories on that, and then this too. So it's you actually might use the accessories and not just have them sitting in a box.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, being pissed that the toys, like the Constructicons, for instance, they have their guns as robots, but then they have nowhere to put the guns in the vehicle mode. But like in the show, they just transform and have their guns. So this hits that. This kind of like care to detail like really hits me in the feels, I guess.
With that, I got another toy in. That's out to my wallet, but I'll talk about this in more detail maybe next week or next time I'm on. But Mr. Voltron, SOC, the king of Decepticons, as we like to call him, came in, and one of the things that I really enjoyed about that figure is this, which is the weapon rack. Ignore the fact that I just shook everything off there because I'm trying to juggle like 8 things here. But yeah, everything goes in here. The only thing that doesn't is the alternate faceplate, because you can have it in Japanese, the Go Lion one or the Voltron logo.
Really?
But yeah, but everything else sticks on here that he has. That's an accessory bit. So that's great. So when I got this, I was like, that's not really. Masterpiece Transformers don't typically do that. Third party definitely doesn't. So I wasn't expecting it. So I was thumbing through the back half of the instruction booklet just to see all the extra things the accessories did. I was pleasantly surprised by that.
So it sounds like you've had an expensive week then. So are you like really excited that they pushed back the Unicron funding? Because that would be really. They're like, yeah, I don't know what the. Yes. I don't know what this like $2,000 is on my credit card here. I only got 3 figures.
I budget a little differently. I've mentioned before that like to just double down on my nerddom, like fiscal responsibility is my other hobby. And so, I budget my Transformer purchase. So I take these things out of the budget when I buy them, even if I don't get charged for them, so that money's accounted for. That said, Unicron put me in the negative because I've already accounted for it and I haven't got back from it yet. I'm hoping to be even balanced by the time I go to TFCon, but we'll see what happens. That's coming up soon.
Fiscal responsibility and Transformers collecting doesn't really seem like it goes together.
They're not a common match, that's for sure. They're not a common bedfellows. So yeah, let's jump into some other accessories. We'll start here with kind of some minor bits. Roller. So this here is the MP-10 roller. This is the Eva Prime version.
Eva!
Yeah, but it is painted. Completely painted in silver. I mean, I'm not wrong here, Paul, am I?
I think you're right.
Yeah, I mean, it's painted. It has kind of some of the gimmicks you're used to. This flips up. You can put the gun in there. The minifigures can sit in here, of course. This bit's new. It's minor, but like you can open up the lid and, just see some detailing. It doesn't serve any other purpose than, for fun. The wheels are plastic. They're painted silver, the rims. And he does tons of things. You're like, it's just Roller, who cares? One of the biggest things they've done is the repair bot does so much, and Roller interacts with it so much. So Roller can pull the trailer. He can then attach to the repair bot bit in 2 or 3 different ways. It's insane. I really. Do you have anything to add, Paul? I'm at a loss of words.
Well, I really am too. We were talking about this a little bit over Facebook. And we're just like, whoa, Roller, whoa! It was just like so kind of exciting in a place you weren't expecting it to be. And a little tidbit I noticed on Roller is the second row of seats. The characters are actually supposed to sit seated backwards, like they're looking out the back.
Oh, you're right.
Like that's how it shows it in the instructions. So I was like, oh, is that how it was always supposed to be? I never knew. Or maybe that's something new.
Isn't that how G1 Roller is as far as the seats go?
Probably. It's probably just something I never noticed.
It's not the way MP-10 is. MP-10, there's no room to get anybody in the back. It's not carved out.
The big change between this Roller and MP-10 is that, and a complaint that I've seen is that the wheels don't pivot like they do with MP-10. It's fine with me. Like, I don't care. It is, I guess, to continue on that, talk about the Roller and how that all the ways it combines. You can see why the budget blew up for this figure. This is a premium gift. It's like a super gift set with all this extra stuff, and it's just the initial release. And I think there's definitely going to be subsequent releases of this robot without the trailer and stuff, because the trailer is just so full packed of gimmicks and stuff. There's magnets in it.
So, Fans Toys' first release was a trailer for MP-01 or something, wasn't it? Isn't that right? Does anybody remember how much that was? Just the trailer? Wasn't it like $100 or $125? Am I wrong?
Yeah, I want to say it was something like that. That was right. That was before MP-04 came out, which had the trailer.
I mean, Fans Hobby did a trailer for their
Maybe
like
that's what I'm thinking
G2
of.
Prime, and that was $100. But I mean, that sounds like a reasonable amount for a trailer, especially if you have a lot of accessories.
Yeah, like we're trying not to harp on the price thing too much because that horse has been beaten to death. But it took us about 15 minutes before somebody in the chat said, over $400, it's too much. If you paid over $400, you're doing it wrong. I'm not ashamed to say it. Amazon Japan, guys, it's time to educate yourselves. Everybody's been buying from Amazon Japan for almost a year now. This was $325 shipped. They don't charge until it ships. Get it from Amazon Japan or you're a sucker and you're throwing your money away. Well, at $325, this is a steal. This has.
I mean, they're selling it at wholesale price. You can't beat it.
Yeah.
This is not the price you're supposed to get the figure at. It's just this crazy thing. I don't know how long it's going to last, but you better take advantage of it while you can.
I mean, I've gotten all of the upcoming releases. I mean, I think Megatron was the first one I did it with. Beast Wars Megatron. Sorry. But, Bumblebee, Hound, Black Arachnia, all of those. I've got Leo Convoy, all of those on Amazon Japan, and that's where everybody should be picking up their stuff for now.
Well, the thing is Ami Ami and Nippon Yasan and HLJ, like, you can get a similar price from them as well. But the difference is that you have to pay for EMS shipping through them if you want to get it, decently quick. And that's pretty expensive. Like, I don't know how much EMS is for a figure like this. It's probably, like $40 or something, $50, whatever.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like with Amazon, that deal that they have with DHL is just killer. Like, I mean, the shipping you pay, like, I think I bought, like, that green Unicron from, like, Amazon Japan. I think I paid, like, $11 shipping from Japan on a figure that big. It's like, it's insanity, I could.
They're losing money. They're losing money on the shipping. I think what I think they're trying to do is squeeze out the wholesalers and become like the only game in town for this stuff. But that's a whole nother topic. So
that's tinfoil hat time. I mean, it could be. I mean, it's
someone at Amazon Japan they're getting so big they got to start identifying like what are the next biggest niches we can hit, and this is they've gone down the totem pole so far. They're like, oh, people that spend a lot of excessive money on collector toys from Japan, let's get them.
Well, the thing is, it's not every line. Like, I don't think Solo Chogakin, you're not going to find it for 30% cheaper from Amazon Japan. I don't think. I mean, if I'm wrong, somebody please correct me. I thought about it after the fact with Voltron here, but it's also he sold out everywhere in about 2 seconds. But like I looked at like the God Mars release, because that one did not really sell out at places, and it wasn't any cheaper on Amazon Japan, than it was in the U.S. I don't know if it's something special with Takara, or if Takara is jacking up the price to people that are wholesaling it overseas, or like you said, is it something? Well, I mean, like Lucas said, you can get it through other Japanese retailers at that price, shipping notwithstanding. But that's.
But why would you?
Oh, well, I mean, I'm not saying you would, but if Amazon isn't losing money on the price they're selling it at, if like Ami Ami's selling it at that price too, because unless everybody's just agreeing to lose money on that or break even on things.
it could be a competition thing. I know that like I do the Amazing Yamaguchi stuff from Amazon Japan as well, and that's usually probably about $20 cheaper, like on an $80. So I'd say usually like you get maybe 25% cheaper. So I mean, a couple of things that like we benefit in the U.S. is we're not paying sales tax on the figures like you would if you're in Japan. So
we also don't pay
that's
customs fees currently.
Yep, currently.
Yeah, this all might change come December. So take advantage.
Yeah. All right, so let's continue on with this guy. One of the I'm going to go ahead and just talk about the minifigures because I really want to. They are not perfect. They got some issues, but then like part of me is like the fact that they went to the trouble they went to on some parts of it is just like holy crap. But then there's some things with them like so here we have a Spike, and he's very tiny, and none of them have any faces painted, which is weird. But like his belt, my webcam's not going to be able to pick this up. His belt is painted blue, like the buckle area, but then the edges are painted brown. Like, I mean, there are super tiny paint apps on this. Like his hair has the little bits coming under the cap painted. I mean, they still didn't, put some dots for eyes, but it's just good.
Yeah, that seems weird to me. Like, why would they not put the like eyes on the figure, yet they put little tiny hair on it? That seems weird.
I don't know why they put a waist joint in it. I honestly think it would be better without it. And at least on my Spike, the right arm comes off constantly.
I had a few ball joints popping off.
I mean, it's one of those. It's so minuscule and so add-on that I find it hard to bitch about it. But like, I don't know. There's some of the detail that just went so insane. I'm gonna put some floor polish on that shoulder joint to thicken it up, and it'll probably be fine. But one of the, and just in case anybody has not seen them, here is Carly and Spike. The makeout section. So another thing I did not realize until looking through the back half of the accessory list. So if we open the trailer up here, which is freaking beautiful, by the way. This thing is just amazing. It is so pretty. And I noticed
feels good.
I was like, oh cool. I was like, they actually did paint apps like these strips in here and this strip in here. Bop. They're magnets. They are magnetized, and the figures have magnets in their feet, and so you can place them on it so they hold their position around. Like, how awesome is that? And we lost Jim. Oh, Jim's back.
Yeah, and that's...
I found me.
Welcome back.
And those magnets are a detail that was probably pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Magnets are not cheap. They're like one of the things that you just want to avoid in manufacturing because they become so expensive. And those are big magnets. Those take up a lot of surface area. So it's wild.
And so
how do they work?
Magnets. How the fuck do they work? All right. So, and now if you put this into repair bay mode, so I've got it standing up here, you can flip down these little things here, which make little shelves. And there's magnets there for them to stand on so that they can help. It just keeps going. There's magnets in the flat parts down here. Oop. For him to stand on.
Magnets
I mean, it's the level of detail in the... People are wondering why is it $325? Well, Sola Chogokin here is $300 on normal. Like, that's a normal price for an SOC, a big one. And this is... Like... Prime's going to be about the size of Go Lion, here, but then he's got this huge trailer with him. And, like, the fun with the trailer doesn't stop. I mean, I got the hose over here plugged in, and the hose does...
The fun doesn't stop.
The hose does all the things, you expect it to do. It plugs into roller two different ways. You can have it, like, one way where it, where they both look forward like that, or you can... It had some other way where... You can take it and you plug it into itself, but upside down or something as another way to store it on roller. I guess in case maybe you can get both it and the gun on there. Yeah, that's what you can do. Because you can do it like this, and then if I put the gun down, so now roller can carry both. I mean, it keeps going.
And you can do some weird combinations. There's two ports on the left side of the trailer where you can store it. But depending on if you have the assault deck or whatever plugged in there, some things you gotta creative with how you organize it. But you can get everything in there without rubbing or crushing anything.
And then with get A spike popped off again at that belly joint. Oh, now the leg popped off. Man, these limbs come off constantly. That they're both amazing and like terrible. I mean, it's not breaking or anything, but so of course they can go.
It seems like Takara took the ab crunch a little too far this time.
Yeah. So like the little spots here, the little blue areas, they do fit in there. They'll sit in there. That one goes down. This other one goes sideways. Both legs fell off there. The ball joints they're too tiny to hold anything. Definitely gonna have to thicken them up. So then we have. So you got the repair bay here, right? It comes off. And holy God. I have never seen so much attention to detail put in the repair bay.
I just saw wheels on the bottom of that.
Yes, you did, because you can flip it up.
What even?
And it rolls like that. And then you can flip this out. Roller can pull it along. So Roller can tow the repair bay.
Roller has a trailer.
Yeah. Or Roller can pull the trailer.
That's amusing.
Then...
Can it pull Roller? Is there a way to attach it the other way around?
Probably. Probably.
I didn't know.
Put a rubber
Maybe
band
with
on
the
it.
hose. Yeah,
No,
maybe
I
with
didn't
the
know.
hose.
I didn't know if there was a tab on the other side.
I don't think so.
Okay.
You can also place. I'm just going to call this the base again. Usually, where this usually is in the back of the trailer. There's another configuration where you can slide it up closer to the front and then pull the head part out of the back and make this weird battle station mode that I've never seen before.
So so you saw me had this. On the bottom here, you see these little pegs. So yeah, you can go the opposite direction. If it floats your boat. And then,
And you are manhandling that thing.
I know I am. Well, I'm trying to get it in the camera because, it is a video show.
Well, if the magnets would work,
We need to get some ICP in here to tell us about them. All right. So yeah, so you can put it in like that, and then, you push that out and get that out of the way, and now it comes out the front half of it, and you can do things that way, and then of course the missile slide out. It has the arm with the grippy claw. It has the satellite. This opens up because you can of course place one of the minifigures in there. So it can come out that way. It can come out the top, of course. But yeah, it can go forwards or backwards. I don't know. Like it's the repair bay thing. The amount of interaction that it has with everything else, and then this piece
It's not supposed
off.
to be this fun.
Yeah, this piece comes off, doesn't it? The top blue piece.
Yes, it does. And then you can put that on top of Roller and make like a combined battle Roller.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how do you do it.
And that's how you get the stand. So there's like a part on the back that you can flip down.
Yeah, flip.
And then you just gotta like yank it off.
Oh, it comes off real easy. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then you have the stand that you can actually fit Prime on without the attachment.
So yeah, there he pegs in there. So you got a battle roller with the repair bay coming along,
and you can actually put the little guys still in Roller with that without killing them, without decapitating them.
Yeah, they all still fit together, and this just slides back on somehow. Yeah, there it goes, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I mean it's the repair bay, man. The repair bay, Roller, and the trailer have just so much attention to detail, and play figures on it that I don't know. It just blows my mind that they put this much effort into it. And it's engineering doesn't come cheap. R&D doesn't come cheap. Marketing doesn't come cheap. All these things add up. It's not how much it costs to make a single figure. At that point, it's all the other expenses that go with running a company and getting toys made.
Well, I mean, I think it's just cool that they like made a flight stand out of the figure too, because I mean that's one big thing. Like Beast Wars Megatron didn't come with one, and everyone complained about that. So it's like it's nice that they actually have, and that they integrated it so that it's not just a flight stand that's like sitting off to the side. It's like an integral part of the figure that happens to turn into a flight stand.
Yeah. As far as paint, so yeah, Roller's painted gray, but the the repair guy is not, other than the silver rims on the tires, and they're plastic as well. The Optimus Prime's tires are rubber, but all the rest of them are plastic, which is fine with me. I mean, I love the feel of rubber, but I mean, we all know that rubber has a chance to crack. Although, these are rubber too. Sorry, on the trailer are rubber. Oh, and look underneath. There's a spare tire underneath it. It doesn't detach or anything, but they molded it, they painted it, and it's there. You know, it has kind of some of the normal features you would expect on a trailer, like the posts come down to balance it. You know, we've seen that gimmick before, as well as when you slide these out, the foot slides down to make it even, so that way, you know, when it's back up, you have the clearance so you can drag it and pull it. But if you want it stationary, you can put it out, and that also acts as a rest for the side of this. And this thing, again, while it's not painted, I mean, I don't, other than, you know, obviously the stripe and the Autobot symbol, the finish on it's really nice. It has a really nice gray color on it. And then the magnets, I don't know what they did. They look painted because it's a different gray with like black lines on it. And anywhere that has the magnet strips has that same appearance on it. So it may just be the way the magnet strip works or something. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, the trailer is just feels nice. It is nice. It's awesome. A lot of people I know are like, well, you know what? I don't want a trailer. I'd rather have been cheaper without it. And I might have agreed with them until I handled this trailer and saw all the gimmicks they put into all of these bits. It's I don't know. It's overwhelming. And I'm talking a lot, so somebody else talk for a bit.
Well, I just agree with you 100%. You know, I mean, we're really in cahoots on how we feel about this toy. I mean, I knew I was going to like it before I got it, but just I was very surprised with a lot of these gimmicks, with a lot of the features that I wasn't expecting. They just like were fun and they were a surprise, you know, because I didn't watch a bunch of reviews or all I saw was the photos.
You know, same. I don't know that any of the big reviewers have put a video up yet. Maybe they have. I haven't noticed any come across my feed. If they have,
I mean, there's been lots of really cool posing photos that have been coming out. Like some people are getting really creative because they're just like so excited by this toy. You can tell, and like every day there's a new amazing set of photos from like on Instagram or Twitter or something, or it just gets shared by everybody at some point. So it's just great to finally have it in hand. I'm not planning to make my own photo set or anything. I'm very happy with just getting it, posing it, and you know, keeping it to myself.
Yeah, I've seen all the people recreating the scenes from the movie with this guy just because he is so dead on. And maybe you can show this off, Paul. Show off some of the articulation of the robot. We haven't really talked about the robot too much yet. I'm flipping through that.
We spent the first 30 minutes talking about the trailer.
Well, like I'm going through the instruction booklet now to make sure we didn't miss any gimmicks. And while I'm doing that, he can show off. This thing has the articulation of an action figure, but it's a full transforming robot. Like that's people are able to get the dynamic poses we've seen from the movie for the first time in a figure. So, you want to show off some of that?
I'll do what I can. I mean, I haven't really done too much with this because I probably spent like 2.5 hours just getting it to this point after getting it out of the box, and then suddenly I was like, "Oh my god, we got to do the show!" But you know, I was trying to pose it on this stand for a while, and that to get it just right took quite a while because the weight. You know, it's a nice stand, but it doesn't like you're not gonna. It has to be pretty much almost straight up and down so it doesn't fall.
So balance issues.
Yeah, I mean, because there's a locking mechanism for the top part, but it only works so well.
Okay.
And I mean, like you can't have it like this and put him up here and it's not expected to like fall or give a little bit. So, but it's still pretty good.
Well, the base doesn't look like it's very centered either.
No,
I mean it's off. Yeah, I mean,
it's made for the repair bay. The fact that they turned it into a stand is just kind of like, you did what?
Yeah.
I assume if you use Dinobot stand, it'd be better.
Do you suppose that maybe they intend for the stand configuration to be used in conjunction with it being attached to the trailer to act as kind of a counterweight?
No, because I think it would be even worse.
Yeah, it's going to be pushed at the back.
The whole trailer fly.
Because you said it could attach the opposite direction, right? Like for that one battle mode or whatever.
It doesn't show that in the instructions, but yeah, actually, it doesn't even show that in the instructions, period.
Oh,
It's on
No,
the back
it
of the
doesn't.
box. There's a picture of
Yeah.
it. That's how we knew.
so
But
maybe,
yeah,
maybe if you snap it on that way.
I think you're probably right. If you put it on backwards, put it on the stand that way, and then put out these legs and,
Yeah.
and folded it down, that probably actually would give it enough balance.
Right, you'd have a wider distribution
Yeah.
there to.
You're
Hopefully.
muted, Paul.
I don't think so, because what I'm saying is it's these joints that are gonna okay.
They
It's
can't hold
not.
it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it just can't really do it. I don't have the boxes up there because I kind of want to look at that and see how they did it. But if I remember, it was kind of like at a 45-degree angle, and he's like flying. I don't know how they got that to work, but maybe mine is just a weak stand. I don't know. I mean, I want to show off the articulation, but I really haven't messed with it. And the one thing I do know about this thing is that people have been having problems with some of the knee joints, and I don't want to just start
The
breaking
knee
my
joint.
shit.
The knee joint was here. When this bends back, it was pushing against the blue piece. If I bend mine without holding anything, it articulates at the right spot.
Yeah.
But if you hold the blue spot and just make sure it articulates at the upper part of the knee, you know you're good.
Yeah.
And so, like, once it gets to max, then the whole thing starts rotating. And, oh my god, this is awesome. So, here's my one leg I have transformed, right? So, I'm going to bend it up, and then, like, the way the knee comes apart. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that bend. And can you show the hips? Because I've seen the way the hip skirts work in images. Like,
like the front hip skirt.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
hip skirts have always been the bane of every Transformer.
Oh yeah, it kind of goes with. There's a few joints going on here, and like some of them give at a certain spot, which allows the thing to.
It slides up in there.
It has some resistance. See, like you can see if it has some resistance here, but it pops back. So like if I just push this up, yeah, this has a spring or something, and will come back. But if you move the leg up, it stays.
So how high up can you get his leg? Like,
Yeah.
Like, there's.
That's a chorus line kick, baby.
I have a leg and a half transformed, and I've already seen multiple of those masterpiece moments with this toy.
Just the legs are like an engineering marvel.
What they've done, the side of the truck comes off and then collapses down into this panel. It just keeps fold, and then then it all tabs together and it folds up, and like this whole piece swivels around so that the wheels are on the outside for truck mode. Swivels in, that gives you that flat smoothness from the cartoon of the outside. It's fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Crazy. And there's so many little things you're turning and moving, and you're just like, why am I doing this? Until that last bit, and it all comes together like smooth butter, and it makes this trapezoid that has like, it's all flat, just like it's a smooth, flat surface, and you're like, how did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, so like, you see this mess here, and it's like it's all gibbly panelly, but if you look at my finished leg, I mean, it looks amazing. That was wheels and truck panels and like the hitch for the trailer and all that is in there, and like there's part of the tailgate, with the lights on it that, folds in and tucks away. If I had to make a complaint, it'd be that you can see a tiny sliver of red right there. But I remember seeing that on the early promo shots. That was back when that's all we had were those images to stare at. So
just rationalize that one away as being a homage to the Red Toe Optimus from G1. It's an Easter egg.
Yeah. Oh, and in case you like ankle tilt, he has ankle tilt.
Oh my god.
He has all the ankle tilt. I mean, I think part of that might be for transformation, but I can't remember at this point because, yeah.
So my question is though, is the transformation fun? Like, did you actually enjoy? Because to me, I kind of watched a couple videos online, and it seemed like it was almost like one of those bad cube figures where it, like, I don't know if you've ever done bad cube where it's like it just explodes into a million pieces and then comes back together, and it kind of looked like that, but it's like hard to imagine if it's not in my hands.
So Amber would love this toy because she has said before that she likes Transformers that are complex. So it's complex, but I've felt that it flows really well. Again, I've only got a leg and a half done. I've been trying to fiddle with it while we're talking or whatever. But I'm doing a lot of the talking because I'm, half of the cast that has one.
And you're the host.
Yeah. I'm checking YouTube. I'm checking OBS, making sure everything's still working.
Kind of a crazy question. Paul, since you have yours in robot mode, and having seen the ankle tilt just now, can Optimus do the splits and have the feet flat on the ground?
Potentially, yeah.
Yes, 100%.
I mean, what I've got him doing right now is that, like, really Gerwalky inverted knee thing, which it does a really good job of that.
Sure.
If you like your pelvic thrust Optimus, it's a
all the Fembots got pregnant within a 10-mile radius.
Jeez. One thing I just noticed, it does not have a swivel at the knee.
Really?
Like, I don't think you can actually twist it at the knee, which I don't know if that here's MP10.
You have your thigh rotation.
Yeah, but I mean, MP10 can do this, which is kind of goofy anyways. A real person can't do that, so I guess whatever. Just a point that I just realized is missing.
I've never felt the need for a thigh cut. If it had it, it has. It feels like because MP10 has that as well. Then he can rotate at the top. Yeah, kinda. Yeah.
It's just a articulation point that I just realized doesn't seem to be there. But I haven't really messed with everything, and I'm not going to do everything on camera for the first time.
The way that everything folds down up inside the lower leg there.
There's no way.
Why it wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's not there, but I don't know. I feel that with there is a thigh cut that kind of hidden behind the thigh. That's usually what you want, and it
right.
It's twisting at the knee to help make up for its thigh cut. MP10s being a little less. I don't know that that's super common on my toys. Like if I'm looking around at just what I have on my desk, and most stuff doesn't have a twist there. Like Solar Chogokin definitely doesn't. KFC Reflector doesn't. But to get back to you, Lucas, about the transformation, so far, I have found it intuitive. Like it's, like when I peeled off the side of this guy here, I was like, what the hell is gonna go on with? I knew it went into the leg. I wasn't sure how that was gonna happen. But as I kept moving along, it just stuff started making sense. Like, oh wait, I need to get this into there. It's like, oh, there's a twist there. All right, I can twist that. Oh, here we got
open.
So here's something I thought was kind of interesting, and I remember wondering about this when we first started seeing the photos at Toy Fair and stuff. The window, I wasn't sure if there were two sets of windows. There aren't. There's only one, but the way they do it is I'm not even sure I can do it now that it's transformed, but the windows turn and you flip them around.
What?
Oh.
Yeah. So if you look at this, you can see the windshield wiper on the inside, right here.
Yeah.
Top. So that's been flipped around on the. It's the same part, the same clear plastic is both sides of the window. It's just you rotate it, and you'll see that when you get to it, Rob. But the matrix chamber is actually surprisingly small. And something I realized today is that it is literally the same matrix as MP10.
But it's painted differently, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm just saying it's you can put any MP10 matrix in here, and you can put this matrix in an MP10.
Vice versa.
Yeah, they made it so you can do all the same stuff. And that's how it fits. That's how it fits in there.
It is not. It is not the same.
It's not. It's definitely the same. I looked very closely. All the molding details are the same, and it's still a die-cast thing. So I think they just decided to be able to reuse it.
This is different.
Which one do you have?
The Eva Prime one. Like on this one, you can see how the red, the inner piece comes up above, and it doesn't move or anything. But on here, it doesn't. They're both flat and in there. They're obviously very similar because a matrix is a matrix, but it's I mean, if you're saying you compared them, I don't have just a standard MP10 anymore.
You might be looking. Well, I mean, none of the MP10 molds have different matrices.
I mean, this is
unless they do, and no one noticed in the past 8 years, which is also possible.
Yeah, I mean,
you might be looking at. They're not identical. You might be looking on one side.
No, I flipped them around. The other. Like it's the only similarities are because they're both a matrix. You know what I mean? Like they're obviously different. Like it's just night and day. So if yours is the same, it might just be something else with Eva Prime.
This is LeBron Voy.
Can the
that is
can the
totally
MP10 matrix fit into the
MP44
into the new figure?
I don't know because I don't have mine in robot mode to check.
I was able to. Yeah, you can put them. The ones I have, my MP10. So the same matrices can go in either. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I was wondering. Okay.
Well, something is different here. Like
I'm not telling you you're a liar.
Oh, I know.
But I'm right.
Well, the thing is that LeBron one you held up, that is the. I mean, I can tell from even your webcam that's totally the same as MP44s. So why is this one's different?
I got Ghostbuster and I got Ava down here, so I'll look, but not right now.
Yeah.
And if I'm right, you owe me a kiss.
I'll give you that anyways. That's for after hours. But
is Patreon only.
Is that with
After hours just got sweaty.
But no, I've been enjoying the transformation. Bad Cube, like some of their early releases, like I loathed them. They actually turned me off of third-party Masterpiece toys for like 2 years because I was just tired of toys that I hated. And then eventually, Takara. This is the first new mold we've had since Sunstreaker, so that's almost 2 years for G1 MP. That is, they've done some anime repaints, and we've gotten some awesome Beast Wars toys in that time, but we haven't seen shit for new mold G1 because they've been obviously refocusing the line and delivering this guy, and now we're going to get Bumblebee and Hound, and hopefully get some more announcements soon. But now this has been like even the complex Takara stuff I've always enjoyed. Versus Bad Cube or Fans Toys where I just hate the figure. It's just they're not fun to transform. I dread it. This is obviously a time investment, but I can take it, put it on my nightstand, and I'll transform it a little every night while I'm winding down to some YouTube. That's fine. I won't hate my life for it. I think this guy is setting the standard again. Takara is setting the standard again. We're going to start seeing some of the things it is doing in the third-party world. I know they've slowed down on G1 MP, but like the hip thing where the skirt slides up, I think everybody's going to have to do that now. Does he? I assume he has an ab crunch. There's obviously a joint here for transformation. Does he crunch good?
Again, I haven't messed with that, and after transforming it, that's one of the scary parts. So I have kind of avoided it for right now.
I can tell there's a big piece on here, so unless it all snaps in,
there's some weird transformation thing that happens here that I've never seen before. It's like a pressure hook sort of situation, and I was like, what the hell's going on? I'm going to break something, and then at some point, the hook it's like it made pressure and then released, and then it was all suddenly in place, and I was like, oh, thanks physics. I don't know how it works, but there's some scary things going on there. And when you transform this thing, the backpack, which I'll just say is another huge gripe I've heard, it just all makes sense. Why it's there, and it just doesn't bother me, especially if I have the actual backpack covering up the backpack. But you see some of the comparisons with other third party attempts at recreating this, and if you really care what your figures look like from the back, then that might be a deal breaker for you. But it just didn't bother me one bit.
I will say if you compare this against that transform element like Optimus Prime, I think it does a heck of a job. For that third party toy. It is really clean and nice. Now, that transform element doesn't have the same level of articulation that this does. And the paint is a lot nicer on this as well.
Yeah.
That one's a cool toy. It is. It's just that wouldn't have been the step forward that this one is, that Rob's talking talking about, like, changing paradigms, like putting a hard stop on what they've been doing before. If that was the MP44, like, it would look nice, but everyone, I think, would just be, a little bored of it after a while. Because the transformations, just, it's the arms come down and make the side of the car. This is like something new and different and exciting and, scary if you think you're going to break it, which is sort of exhilarating.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand complaints about, oh, hey, the backpack looks bad because it's a little big. I mean, it obviously is, but it's like a 3% complaint, of a 95% amazing toy. Most toys don't hit 95, so it's like, pick out what's wrong with. It's like, well, there's that, all the little minifigures, the ball joints pop off constantly, but it's like, I can rattle off little minor things, but all of them add up to such a tiny amount of what this toy does and what is amazing about it. It's like, if that's the reason you don't buy it, it's not the reason you're not buying it. There's other reasons, and it's probably price. That's right. The prices have went way up. Again, especially if you're buying from U.S. retailers, and if you are, again, you're doing it wrong. Learn about Amazon Japan. Ask us on the TFLP Facebook group or something, and we're happy to show it to you and post the links there when they go up and all that, to help people learn about how to buy this cheaper. They have an English version of the site. Right. You can go to town.
I will say, just in general, like all of these figures too, just the paint that is on them. So it annoys me about the paint because it's more likely to chip, like on Megatron and all that. But as a display piece and all that, it looks so much nicer. Like, I got some of those the MP Plus figures, like the Wheeljack and Prowl and whatever. And they just look so much nicer than the older figures with all of that paint. And I do think that animated look, I think it does look nice as a display piece too. So, like, I think this, you can obviously tell it's like, in Paul's lighting here, it's like you're flashing all this, shiny paint, and then it looks great.
Yeah, it does look nice. Everything on this thing looks great. Can we talk about maybe the heads for a second?
Yeah.
Because what really got me excited about this is that I hate headcanon and whatever, but this is like something sort of meta. I feel like this is a Starscream toy because this, in the episode that this happens, it's Starscream parading as Optimus Prime. And I always wondered if they would ever homage that, and here they go. Awesome. The Starscream head is the spitting image of my boy.
That's a nice looking Starscream head.
The Starscream head is awesome. It is perfect.
Two things to that. One, it is a different head, so it is another. It is another character, right?
Yeah.
That's the standard rule of thumb. Is like if you switch the head, like even with a headmaster, it becomes that other character.
Well, just even in the context of the story and the show and what it is homaging, it's not Optimus Prime with Starscream's mask on. It's Starscream cosplaying as Optimus.
Right.
The stupid humans.
And the second is that you have the little, whatever they're called, the little pylon shoulder things. Optimus wouldn't have those.
Yeah, that's the great part about the episode is they pop out.
Right.
It's just kind of cool. It's like he's been holding them in. He's like, I don't have to do this anymore. And so here it is.
It works for me.
And so I have a theory. It's probably not going to happen, but because this never happened in the show. Now. Well, yeah. What if they make Nemesis Prime? Then you got a Skywarp, and if they ever do the damn Diaclone Battle Convoy version, which would be blue, you could do a Thundercracker too, which would be pretty cool.
How would they do Dirge?
They wouldn't.
You say that, but how many times did MP10 get repainted? Like, how many versions of that? Do we have a solid 10?
It's still getting repainted.
Like, with all the, weird, sports ones like LeBron. Like, LeBron wasn't just a one-off. They did multiple ones of sports characters. Or characters, but of athletes. It's just... I'm curious what they're going to do.
Well, yeah, there's so many gimmicks. Which one will persist in the dumbed down version of this figure? Clearly not the trailer. And so then there's no magnet. So I imagine the little figure guy, Spike and Carly in them, those are probably only for releases with the trailer, and won't come with this. Like, the trailer does not hold these items, so maybe this is always going to come with any iteration of this figure. So I just thought it'd be cool if like Nemesis Prime is Skywarp, and they figure out a way to do.
You know what they would probably do is if they repaint it for some other franchise, like they've done Evangelion, they've done Ghostbusters, and all these others. LeBron is whatever they end up repainting this one into later on down the road, they could release it. No magnets, but the people would have the faces painted. Just to spite us. Just to spite us.
Juggalo Prime is what you're saying?
No. He's saying that the minifigures don't have the magnets, but they paint the faces. So you have to get both and part swap to have the perfect.
I mean, they've done Coca-Cola, Pepsi, all these other licenses. So heck, maybe we'll get a Snickers bar Optimus Prime, and that way he needs to eat a Snickers so that he goes from being Starscream back to being Optimus, and it could be a thing.
That's a funny commercial. That's a funny YouTube video.
That is.
There. Like a little.
Wonder if someone could make that. Well, so here I'll take the head off because it's not like the mechanism is kind of neat because it works with the storage as well. So I'm not sure how good this is going to look on screen, but you actually pull it forward, so it slides off forward. Then you got this little stub here, which I think it's kind of funny. It's like Imperator Prime.
Michael Bay would be pleased.
Yeah. Give me your face.
Give me your face.
So there's like a little dot in there, a little hole, and that's what actually attaches it here. And then in the trailer, there's a little nub that you can just put it on, and that's what keeps it in place. So it's like a little rack of faces in the back of the trailer. Oh, wow. And so again, here's the battle damage helmet, because I'm displaying this as Optimus's severed head with Starscream.
Now is that from like Dark Awakening or
it's from the movie?
From the movie.
I saw someone say it's Dark Awakening. My friend
I didn't see it too well.
My friend Hobby Drifter was like, "Oh, this is the Dark Awakening head," and I'm like, "Is it?" Because I'm pretty sure it's a movie.
I mean, it would make more sense if it was
that's 86 movie.
Yeah, I mean,
possibly the return or the whatever one where he was
Rebirth.
Possibly that one.
So the antenna do like have a slight movement to them, but what I just think is amazing about this battle damaged head is that they were really able to evoke the like flimsy bent antenna exactly how it's supposed to be. It's crazy, and he's also got like kind of googly eyes. One eye is open bigger than the other, so
it's completely unique. I mean,
I know probably not, but with the bent antenna, does it have plastic stressing at all?
Mine does not.
So it's just molded bent. They didn't mold it and then carefully bend it with the machine or something.
Correct. Okay. And in case anybody's wondering, like I'm looking at that and I'm looking at the round head as well, which was some animation, some cartoon episodes. He looked kind of like that.
Yeah.
The paint on both of these is fantastic, and I don't know if the blue is painted. I feel like it is. Like the outside's painted. The face is definitely painted because you can see it's white on the inside. So I mean, you can see like that. They've painted gray over the other parts of it, but the paint is like super nice. It's all right in the lines, right where you want it. Just looks top notch. It's not bleeding or leaking or anything for such small paint apps like that. But then again, they were able to do it on these figures. So what do you expect? They've obviously figured out painting.
Now it doesn't look like it would chip easily at all, does it?
I have not noticed any issues yet with my pieces. Like it all feels really, really good. It feels pretty durable. But like my MP-36 totally chipped. I have chips.
Oh.
I have multiple chips on it. I mean, for me, it's fine. I mean, like, would I rather have it not chipped? Of course. Would I rather have it painted and enjoy my figure and get a few chips along the way? Yes. Like just given the reality of the fact that these are things that you beat up when you play with them, because they're Transformers and they're intricate. It's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm not like Paul. Paul is like, it's perfect and now nobody ever touch it because I never want anything to have it happen to it again. I'm not that way. I'm more like, play with it. Something bad happens, easy come, easy go. I'll break out the glue. I'll break out something to touch it up. I'm more that way.
I don't know.
So-
It bugs the crap out of me to have that happen. Like I had that happen to like my Inferno and Grapple and Megatron, and it just like I could see the tiny paint chip, and then every time I picked it up, it would just go right to that paint chip.
No, I've messed with Inferno and Grapple many times, and I don't remember any issues on them. And that's because I just love the engineering on that toy. It is insane. But like I said, MP-36, I definitely remember this. There's some on the shoulder, and I think it's mainly on the shoulders where I had some. But yeah, I didn't have any issues with those two at least. I don't think I've had any with Sunstreaker either. I've transformed it less. His backpack still scares me a little bit because it takes a bit of pressure to snap it up. So, are either of y'all getting this figure, or y'all just vicariously enjoying it through the show tonight?
I was just wanting to mainly come on and participate in the Q&A. I don't have the budget for this figure, even at the Amazon Japan price. But I'd owned MP-01, the 20th anniversary release from Hasbro years and years ago. I'm just remembering that figure as I'm watching you guys and listening to everything, and it's an awful lot to take in. I mean, if there's one thing that could be said to sum this up, to kind of take away from this, is that this masterpiece is definitely made with love. I'm seeing ridiculous, insane detail. Just that, for example, the side panel, how it just collapses down into the leg like that, or the storage in the trailer for the parts. I mean, it's unthinkable.
The transformation is really like the most amazing feature. All the stuff we're talking about, it's all great, but the transformation is light years beyond. I mean, it's complicated, yeah. It's not like complicated just to be complicated. It serves a purpose, and it's a fun, exploratory experience.
So it's not the sort of nice. So it's not the sort of transformation where it feels like an unnecessary chore, like say, I don't know, Revenge of the Fallen Mixmaster or something like that.
I mean, it's a little bit of a chore, I'm gonna admit, but like if I can put myself back, is it 15 years ago? MP-01 seemed ridiculously over-engineered. It's like the wheels fold. What? And now that's like, guess what? You've had time to digest that. That seems silly now. And MP-10 was like the next level of perfection. It's the same leapfrog, and that's what they were going for. They're like, we need to have the same amount of rethinking what a Transformer is when we release another Optimus Prime like this, and they nailed it.
It's crazy to think just how far we've come in that short time span. Since the days of MP-01 or alternator sideswipe or something like that. And what I'm seeing here is just it's blowing my mind.
When people, again, you got to bring up the price because price is the crux of everything.
Sure.
Of course. People are like, oh, it's a cash cow. They're ripping us off. They're doing this and that. But I mean, they're a for-profit company out to make money. Duh. They're not doing this out of the charity of their hearts. But the engineering, as you said, it's definitely a labor of love. Not just engineering, the whole package, because there is no need for that much attention detail to the frickin' repair bay drone. Like, holy God. And the fact that it interacts with everything in multiple ways, and it's the repair drone. It's an afterthought to most people, and they've made it super duper fun. And it's the reason why I didn't get to the robot until like, until like an hour before the show. I was like, oh, I can finally play with the toy now. Because I was just so enamored with what everything else could do. That they went all out with that, and you don't see that level of kind of like dedication and love in a lot of the third-party world, especially not these days. I felt when the third-party world kicked off, it was a lot of fans that really wanted something, and they really wanted to see it, and so it made it happen. I mean, there's fans all over the world. Obviously, somebody had connections to a factory, or owned a factory, or worked with the factory. could get that done. But it became a business after a while. Like TFC's, like when TFC was turning out combiners left and right, and I was buying, I bought most of them, and like it was obvious that it's just they paid somebody to engineer those toys and put them out, and they were just, oh, we need to do this combiner now. We need to do Defense War. So all right, here you design it up, and then we'll put it out, and we'll print it out. It wasn't somebody's like, oh man, that's like really energetic. It wasn't there. It was a bit soulless. I mean, and I still like that toy. Don't get me wrong, but you can tell that wasn't there. It was checking the boxes and moving them through, and that's what we see a lot of.
I think that was one of the complaints that I had on a lot of the earlier Fans Toys figures. Like, I think that their recent figures, like their Galvatron and Skyfire, I'm trying to think.
Cyclonus,
thank you. Like some of those, just like fantastic figures that have a lot of personality to them. And I always felt like the Make Toys figures did too. But I mean, you're right. That one thing I think that Takara always does a great job of is just giving personality, to these figures. So Rob, my question is for you. So you just got into Solo Chojokin Voltron, right? Like that's your first time interacting with that figure, right? Mm-hmm. And then interacting with this. So if you had $300 or whatever it was, right? And that's all you had, or whatever, $350. And that's all you had, and you could only go back and buy one of those figures and not both. Which one would it be?
It's not a fair question because it's going to be Optimus Prime because I'm way more invested in Transformers than I am Voltron. I mean, if you pan around my room, Transformers, and what's Voltron?
I'm not saying like
Voltron is
not
that shelf.
The IP. What I'm saying is like the figure itself, as far as the quality and that's concerned. Like, which do you think is the better figure? That if like I want I am a fan of all 80s properties, and I'm not necessarily like favoring Transformers. I just want something to be a definitive display piece for my 80s collection. Which one would you pick?
I don't think I can answer that question. I mean, I really don't. They are both leaps and bounds above what came before. So I still have it over there. It's on eBay now, but the Toonami Masterpiece 20th version of Voltron, which that toy is very outdated. And I'm not going to go into detail about like Solo Chogokin Voltron here. It does a lot of things that it always bugged me that no other Voltron toy did. Like, I was like, oh man, they did that. Like, Voltron's very basic. Even the Toonami one doesn't really improve much as far as like it's better detail and quality, but it's still the same basic toy as what you got in the 80s. So like this one here, it does things that no Voltron does before, like thigh swivels. In lion mode, the lions articulate. They got a little bend in them. The legs collapse in so that in leg mode, and they're thinner, but in lion mode they stand out a little more. But it's not perfect either. Like this tab that folds back to act as a heel spur sucks. This sucks. It doesn't make me feel comfortable when I stand him up. I'm worried he's going to fall over. It still has like this bump here, on the wing. Why didn't they make it so that you show the other version, so that you don't have that fold there facing forward? But I mean, it does. Like the heads shrink in and out for this. There's a lot more articulation. Things snap in really well. Like it does things that no other Voltron toy did before. And it's hefty and it feels awesome. It's not painted the way Optimus Prime is, but it's super well made. It's the best. I have 3 other Solo Chogokin figures. It's definitely the best one. Like I don't have any qualms about that. The base mode stores all the weapons, all that. It's great. Masterpiece Prime does all that for Transformers. The engineering hasn't been seen before. It's painted top to bottom. The trailer doesn't just go all out. It goes beyond all out with things no one ever thought were features we needed or wanted in a trailer. And now that I have them, I love them, and I can never imagine buying another trailer that doesn't do all that stuff. It's always going to be compared to it. It didn't set the standard, set the bar. It broke it, and that's what Solo Chogokin Voltron does too. if you only have $300, you can't go wrong.
You also can't buy Optimus Prime.
Well,
$325.
What I mean?
Sorry.
Whatever the three. Is.
I mean, if you like a toy that you can, put in both modes pretty quick. I mean, I play with my toys. I open them up. Solar Chokin is going to be a better thing because you can pop that apart and back and forth, 10 minutes. And that's if you pose all your lions. That might take that long. This is, if you're stranded on an island, you might get bored of that. This is going to keep your mind engaged a little longer. So that's going to be the pick for you.
Well, I think
I can't separate what Transformers the impact it has on us. This is a Transformers show. It's not a Voltron show.
Right. Oh,
Voltron had one, honestly, not that great dub in the 80s, and then a wonderful Netflix show. I mean, which wasn't perfect, but for the most part, I enjoyed it. I finished it. I enjoyed it. I mean, you're going to get more recognition when people come into Optimus Prime, way more known than Voltron. It's
right. So I think that the thing for me, and I held off, like I didn't end up getting Masterpiece Prime, and the thing for me is that after I gotten that Solar Chokin Voltron myself, I kind of looked at some of my Masterpiece Transformers, and I was like, I'm not sure that these are good enough. Like these are really good, and like the Megatron was really really close, but it just wasn't. And so that's what kind of hearing that from you as far as with the Prime and just how amazing that is to where like I could buy this Prime, and for the most part, at least for like the next 10 years. Be like, all right, this is the ultimate Optimus Prime that there will be no other primes that are better than it. Like that's kind of what I'm, looking for out of Prime.
Never say never. I mean, how many times have we seen in the Transformers world now that we just keep getting better engineering, detail, paint, accessories over and over again, and that's because the Transformers brand keeps we've had toy product on the shelves constantly. Voltron doesn't have that. Voltron getting something new is a big deal, and congrats to Bandai for going all out on it. Not congrats to them on the God Mars, which broke, and it's not just me. I didn't fat finger that thing. It's the issues with the arms are widespread, so it made me feel a little better. It wasn't just my dumb ass. Like never say never. It's going to be hard to top. Like when MP10 came out, I wasn't in love from the get-go, and I never was in love with that toy. I enjoyed it as a toy, but it was never what I was looking for from an Optimus Prime. Like, I knew there were gaps in that. I don't know what gaps I'm going to have in this unless they find a way to give me both modes this awesome that, is somehow way simpler, and I don't see how that's possible without detaching the legs.
What is... There's a few things missing with this toy, I'd say.
Go for it.
I just had it in my head. Well... The truck mode is not setting the world on fire, unless you have the trailer on it. Like the part in the back, like the truck bed is just kind of like it's robot kibble that's like covered up. It's like a tray of meatloaf. Like the tray is nice and smooth, but the meatloaf is all nasty in there. And I'll admit that it doesn't look super great. It's just kind of a weird rectangle, but it's definitely okay. Like. It's a gimme as far as I'm concerned. They can have it. The one thing I was really disappointed on with this toy, and this is just me being a age-old crusty Transformers fan, is that I'm sick of the two grills. I don't want faux parts in a Masterpiece toy. It's not a perfect Masterpiece until that's gone. So they still have to me, there's a hurdle that still needs an uncanny valley that they will have to cross, and maybe MP-100. Maybe that's when they'll. Stick it to us. I hope they do.
Now with the grills, is it like a front and back sort of thing where it rotates?
So here's this one. Here's the other one.
Okay. It's
kind of like honestly MP10 style where it's underneath.
Okay. Yeah, because on the truck itself, even on G1, it had more grate to it, whereas in the Tune, it was just like the few slats and that was it.
I mean, I think that's why I've come more and more around to faux parts, because the animation models were always so different, and I enjoy the animation model so much. What really turned me around on it was Masterpiece Cheetor. So it has the fake cat head in robot mode, but when you transform it, the real head goes into that exact same spot. So like they're saying, we can engineer this to make both modes, but we can't, at least not not with today's technology, make a cat head that goes in and then expands out and changes shape and dimension completely to spread out to be the way that the mainframe show cheated all the time. And so I've become more and more okay with the faux parts, especially when they occupy the same space. And we were talking about the windows, because I have them exploded here. So here is the truck mode window, and then there is his booby window. So it's like, this is another case where it's the same piece, but the shape changes in the animation. It is something different. And so it occupies the same space. They just had it, flip around to give the different detailing. So, you can have the little headlights at the top when he's in robot mode and stuff. Because I don't know where these headlights are going to go, but they're going to go somewhere else, apparently.
Yeah, it's clever.
Yeah, it's beyond clever. It's insane. And, we talk about, too, like, again, this, obviously he's exploding here in the middle. So people like, oh, blah, blah, blah. What was that Age of Extinction Prime that did that? And people raved about it. And
yeah, I was actually thinking about that toy when I was transforming this today. There's some about how the parts like rotate and flip around.
Yeah.
On the upper body.
But the difference was that toy was affordable. This one isn't. And so, there's people I think are being overly negative on it because, and it sucks. Like, I empathize. Like, they've been priced out of a hobby they love, or they've been priced out of a line they used to love to collect. And, and so when you can't afford it, you're going to automatically look to try to, break that cycle on yourself of, oh shit, I can't ever afford that. I can't buy that. I can't, like, well, why can I hate it? That way I don't have to, the way I don't even want it. And that's just a human thing. That's a natural thing that we all do. I think it's important to realize that about ourselves. That way you're not just endlessly bashing on something. It's the internet. Yeah, you got Facebook, even if you use your real name on it. It's still effectively anonymous. You're not going to meet those people in real life, in most groups, in the big groups, like the smaller groups, like our TFLP group, you can meet us. Well, a lot of us are going to be at TFCon. You can come say hi.
I was going to say, at TFCon, Rob.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You're like, I'm never going to see you suckers or whatever. It's like, oh, wait.
Yeah, we bite back.
But it's important to realize that. So, like, you can nitpick some things, and some people don't like transformations like this. And they don't appreciate it. That's not what they want out of their toys, and more power to them. I think that's the great part about having Magic Square has a version, and Transform Element has, a version of a Masterpiece Optimus Prime that's doesn't have a trailer, doesn't have all the bits. They both apparently are great toys, from what I hear. And they're cheaper. So they give people some other options. I do think if Masterpiece is your bag, you can make this work. Even with budget, you just got to save up. You have to not buy everything else, in your hobby money life. And it may take you longer, but eventually it'll happen. If Masterpiece is your bag, like, you got to have this.
Robert, are you trying to talk about all of my, like I don't know how much money worth of Siege figures behind me over here? I don't have the money for Prime. Oh, wait, I've got like $300 worth of Siege repaints back there.
This is totally worth half a Unicron. There is no doubt.
Yeah.
In my mind, totally.
If you're having trouble stomaching the price for this thing, just wait. We're gonna have a repaint of this in a year, maybe less. Who knows? And it probably won't have all the bells and whistles that we've been raving about. And you can probably live without them because the toy is super cool on its own. And so everyone's going to get a chance to get this guy. You just might have to wait a little bit. And
the colors might be weird.
Colors might be weird, but that gives you more chance to save up. $10 a month for 3 years, you'll probably have more than enough to pay for the whatever, non-trailered version of this toy is.
Do you really think they'll do like an Optimus Prime colors, but they're totally going to do like a metallic version or something. That's what the plus line is now, because the cartoon accuracy is the main line, and the like toy colors and metallic colors, stuff like that, are going in the plus line. There's obviously going to be some plus release in this, but I don't know if they're going to do that without the trailer or not. I think they're going to do a toy version with the trailer, with the blue stripes and everything.
Maybe my memory isn't serving super well, but like there's been on trailered versions. I guess it was Nessus Prime was that way. The Bapes were that way, but those aren't very cost effective.
Oh wait, so that's MP10 releases that didn't have the trailer?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of.
You're right.
And all the US versions came in like special packaging, but they were all pretty affordable. Yeah. But that's not happening anymore. I mean, for the time being, that's not happening. Takara dictates this, and then we get a black sleeve put over the US, the Japanese version, and that's our US version. So I don't know. Just be patient. Don't be hating on everything. This is a really good toy. This is a great time to be a Transformers fan, like it seems to always be every year. And you might get lucky. Maybe someone doesn't like this thing and just wants to sell it and get it out of their hair. Yeah. And if you're the guy that happens to be there when he clicks post, you can reply first.
Pay him first. Have your PayPal ready. Send goods and services. Don't buy anything on Facebook without sending PayPal goods and service. So are we about ready to wrap up? I mean, we've been going for 70, 80 minutes on one figure.
It's been a while, and you still haven't finished transforming him yet. So.
I can't talk and transform at the same time. Hey, I got a leg done, and I exploded the chest. That's progress.
I mean, just showing it, he does keep his pose pretty well. Like gravity. I mean, I've seen some people maybe had a floppy one. Mine seems to be in pretty good shape.
I will say that, like, this is a much lighter figure than Solo Choking. Like, this guy, this is a fucking shithouse brick right here. Like, this thing is like, when I put it on my glass table, I set it down. This, I don't know that this even has die-cast in it. And I suspect it's because of how intricate it is. We like die-cast because, that weight and that nostalgia. But, I mean, if I'm objective with myself, like, plastic is obviously what you want an intricate transforming figure made out of. I mean, I wouldn't mind, some die-cast. They like to put it in the feet and stuff, it gives it that bit of balance, a little bit of that heft. This feels, other than, like, all the ratchets and joints feel really great. But, other than screws and stuff, I suspect it's all plastic because of just how damn intricate it is. There might be some die-cast pieces here, like in the waist, maybe. But, all I have is the cold touch. It's really hard to tell sometimes otherwise, especially for smaller parts. So, maybe you can think about that as part of your question there, Lucas. Which is better? Which is just, it's really apples and oranges. They serve totally different purposes, and Voltron, even though Bandai did an awesome job at bringing some detail and a lot more flexibility to Voltron, it's still just 80 times simpler, with what it does. Right. It doesn't have to do a lot. So yeah. Do we have any other parting thoughts? Last questions?
Well, I had just a couple of brief items for Ouch My Wallet.
Oh.
Which I'm in the middle of transforming this one, Studio Series Barricade. It's an interesting one.
It looks about like my right now.
The little Wheel of Death is a strange accessory. I'm kind of sad that we didn't get a Studio Series Frenzy in some form. Kind of missed
the line isn't over yet.
Right. But then also Studio Series Long Haul. So now I'm halfway done on Devastator.
Congratulations.
All right.
I'm looking forward to putting that guy together. I think that'll be fun.
Oh yeah, I've already been combining Scrap Metal and Hightower into the left arm. It's been pretty nifty.
It's annoying to me that Overload is going to be the last one. Because he's like the
linchpin?
Basically the torso, yeah. So you're going to have all these parts sitting there with no...
I'm appreciative of that. That way you don't have sitting there with no arm for months. You finally get that last piece and it all comes together at once. I'm down with that.
Well, here's what I'm going to do. is I've got the Studio Series figures that I have so far displayed on top of my entertainment center, and I'm just going to have the upper portion of Devastator as if he's rising up from behind, so you wouldn't necessarily see the legs, and I'll just have Rampage and Long Haul here in robot mode as if they're just other Decepticons, just in battle. Kind of a temporary fix, I know. It is what it is. Also, I do want to mention I saw something in another group this morning. I wanted to kind of put the word out. A fellow named William Jarquin in a Talk Transformers group on Facebook has cited at Ollie's Bargain Outlet Studio Series 2-pack 24-25, the then and now Bumblebee pack for $20. That is
that's a tasty treat.
I know, right? That is the 2-pack containing the is that Age of I'm sorry, the Last Night Bumblebee Camaro, as well as the dingy paint, muddy looking VW Bug for the Bumblebee movie. He said it was cited at his Ollie's in Tampa, Florida. I just checked mine earlier before the show. No sign of it here in Indianapolis, at least not at mine in Mooresville. But just be on the lookout in the coming weeks or month or whatever. It'll probably start showing up if it does. $20. It's not bad for 2 deluxe figures, especially not Studio Series, because those are some awesome figures.
Yeah, that Bug Bumblebee is pretty popular.
Oh yeah,
hard to find now. So
still not a fan of how the on the Beetle, how the backpack kind of snaps up in the thing. It always makes me nervous every time I transform it. It's a good figure.
Anybody have anything else? We heading out? All right. Well, cool. Well.